Hello and welcome back to the Brandon Can Win channel. It's so nice to be back. I've been gone for a couple weeks because, one, I had to play this game that we're going to be talking about today, and two, Persona 3 Reload also came out. So, two amazing games that I've been looking forward to for a very long time decided to come out pretty much on the same day. The standard edition of this game came out the same day as Persona 3 Reload, so I did get the deluxe edition though, so I did play through that first, but anyways, today we're going to be talking about my experience with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League since the game came out. And, you know, the standard edition's been out for more than a week now. I figure now is a good time more than ever to tell you guys what my thoughts are on the gameplay, on the voice acting and the visuals, and the story in that order. And we're saving story for last, even though I usually talk about story first, because I have to talk spoilers. There's no way around getting around spoilers for me personally, and I want to give my own 2 cents on certain events that happen in the game that are controversial that people are talking about. So, without further ado, let's get started. I just want to say a couple more things, sorry. One, I feel like I am going to be kind of a controversial person when it comes to me talking about this game, for the fact that most YouTubers who are posting videos consistently on this game are like DC YouTubers or superhero YouTubers. Like that's the thing they talk about. I'm just some guy on here that likes to talk about video games and stuff that I'm currently obsessed with, or like sometimes I want to make a video doing voice impressions or something like that, because I do want to be a voice actor one day. It'd be a pretty cool thing to do. I'm a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably the only person on YouTube who's talking about this game that did not grow up with the Arkham games. My first time playing Arkham Asylum, City, and Night, I haven't played Origins yet, but my first time playing those three was literally back in November, December time. Yeah, I'm still somewhat new. I grew up with Batman and Marvel. Yeah, and Teen Titans. I grew up on Teen Titans too. That's why I like to call Deathstroke Slade. So in the future, if I ever talk about Deathstroke, I'm going to just call him Slade, because I think that sounds cooler anyways. That's a cool name to have. Slade Wilson. I also want to mention, so for this game, I played it on Steam and the Steam Deck, which, yeah, I got a Steam Deck. I'm very happy with it. I'm going to make a video on that soon. I played it on Steam and the Steam Deck, and, oh yeah, couple more things. One, I didn't get to play the multiplayer until very recently. I decided to hop on and just pair with some randos, and I felt very embarrassed because I felt like I was very bad at the game. So I just went back to playing solo. So yeah, I played through the game solo as well, and I also played through the whole thing pretty much as King Shark. I did one mission with Harley, and then the tutorial where you play as all four. I tried to get into all the characters, all of them, but really, Harley and especially King Shark, he's my dude. I knew from the first trailer this game came out, King Shark was gonna be my main, and yeah, he's stuck with me. He's all maxed out. So let's talk about each character. Let's talk about the characters. So we got Deadshot, who traverses using a jetpack, and he can like shoot in the air and stuff midair. It's really cool, but also for me, it's kind of confusing how it works. I never really got used to it, so that's why I didn't go with Deadshot. Like, I think he's cool, but I can't get into it. Then there's Captain Boomerang, who uses Speed Force Gauntlet that makes him, you know, use the Speed Force. Basically be the Flash, like a dollar store version of the Flash. So he can zip around and teleport and all that stuff, and somehow you can make him go fast. I just never figured it out. He's a bit more confusing to me, but I hear a lot of people love playing as him. And you know what? His, I think it's called Suicide Strike, looks really fun to use, but, you know, guess he's just not for me. Harley Quinn uses a backglider and a, sort of, I guess I'll just call it claw shot, or bat claw. She uses the bat claw to grapple onto it, and she grapples onto things. It's kind of like a crappy version of playing as Arkham Batman, like a very crappy version. Like, he can't glide or nothing. But yeah, it's pretty. Once you get like the hang of it, she's actually pretty fun to play as. But it does take some getting used to. And then there's King Shark, who I think is the easiest to get into, and he just he like runs, he jumps, he pounces. He has like some super jump he can do. He can climb up walls. He's just really fun to just play around with. And I love his suicide strike. You can just dive into a horde of enemies and then they just go flying. It's a blast to use. They really make use of the traversal in this game. Everything's more vertical, so you're encouraged to be climbing up walls and stuff and staying along the rooftops, which is where you want to be, because if you're just roaming around the streets on the ground, you might be disappointed to see that there's not much life down there. The streets are pretty much dead. You'll run into some of Brainiac's forces pretty often in like groups, but you won't see any people just walking around, you know, probably because it's an apocalyptic like area 0. Something I do appreciate about Rocksteady and like the Arkham games is that they make it narratively make sense. Like Arkham City, it's just full of thugs and bad guys anyways, so there technically is no civilians except the ones that you like save from getting jumped every once in a while. And in Arkham Knight, the city's evacuated, so the streets are just full of thugs. And then in the case of this game, everyone's either dead, enslaved by Brainiac, or missing. There are side missions. It's my favorite side mission to do, actually. Basically, you have to take out some enemies, and then you go and find survivors, and then you kind of put them in this little tiny container thing and take them to this bus, let them out on that, and then, yeah, it's really cool. You save civilians and beat bad guys and stuff. Now, when it comes to like more traversal related stuff and gunplay, going back to that, once you build up your support squad, like you get Ivy in it, you get Penguin, Gizmo, Toyman. Once you get your whole crew, then you really start to be able to customize your weapons and stuff. It's really fun. Especially once you get Ivy and you get like the status ailments, you really can customize your shit. Like I have my King Shark, I don't remember what his things are called, but they're like hooks. And I have deep freeze on it, so I like to freeze enemies with that. And then I use El Diablo infliction with my grenades, which you unlock later on. And you can just burn the shit out of enemies with the grenades, and that's a lot of fun too. And adds extra damage and flair to, and style to, you know, your playstyle. You can really get this to fit your playstyle really well. And then once you find something that sticks, you're golden. If you're sick of doing missions and you want some Arkham Knight PTSD, you can go hunting for Riddler trophies. Yes, the Riddler is upset that he was not picked to do the Suicide Squad mission, so he decided, okay, I'm going to lay a bunch of puzzles and tests to test your strength and stuff and knowledge of the DC universe and all that. So yeah, he's hitting a bunch of trophies around, but he also, and this is how you get the cool outfits that you don't have to buy. He has these races around the city that you can do. If every time you can get a total of like 3 stars on a race, and every time you get a star, you get like a new outfit piece, and it's really cool. So those are really worth doing if you see any. And you can also find like sort of voice clips around the city that sort of give you an insight on what it was like on the ground when the invasion started, and that's really cool to see. Now, as for pairing up with friends and stuff, it is connected to, I believe, your WB account. I don't know totally of all of the specifics with this, because like I said, I played solo for pretty much my whole experience, which is kind of sad, but I don't have any friends that are really DC people. But it is cross-platform as well as cross-progression. So basically, if you buy it on, say I bought it on Steam, right? I did. But I decide later on, you know what? I want to play it on my PlayStation 5. I buy the game on PlayStation 5. All my progress that I made on my computer on Steam or my Steam Deck goes into the PlayStation 5. I'll get more onto how Suicide Squad runs on Steam Deck when I make my video on the Steam Deck, because I do test play it for that video as well. So be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell when you do to make sure you're notified when that video comes out. So now let's talk about the voice actors and the visuals. So visually, I think it looks better than Arkham Knight. Now the reason I say that is because people make that comparison a lot. And a lot of people were saying, oh, this game looks worse than Arkham Knight. And I'm like, no. Well, they also say Arkham Knight looks really good, which it does. Arkham Knight is a gorgeous game, don't get me wrong. But so is this game. This game is also pretty gorgeous, and I don't think that's really something you can totally deny. Everyone, by the way, that I've seen, haters and people who like the game, the face animations are amazing. They did a really great job capturing the facial expressions of all the characters, and just really makes the characters come to life in cutscenes. And yeah, it looks amazing. I can't say more than that. I want to talk about some of the music, actually, because I specifically noticed that for the Flash boss fight, awesome music, as well as whenever like the Batman Arkham theme comes up, that's really cool too. A little throwback to the Batman Arkham games. Now, when it comes to the voice acting, everyone did a phenomenal job. I can't really think of anyone that did a bad job. I thought that Samoa Joe was a great fit for King Shark. I mean, it's funny because he's a wrestler. I think this might be why they chose him too. He's a wrestler, and you know, King Shark's classic outfit that you get is like a wrestler outfit, so it was a perfect fit, honestly, and really fit the vibe of King Shark. He's very intelligent and smart and stuff, and you hear in voice recordings, because they do have like recordings. King Shark's is so wholesome. He just wants to make friends.
You're a long way from Belle Reve, Shark. Integrating with these miscreants won't be easy.
It will not. I'm actually quite eager to make friends.
Ground rules. 1. Don't get attached. You're not here to make friends, Shark. We clear?
We are as clear as a jellyfish membrane, Amanda Waller. I will abide by these orders to my full ability.
Well, I'm pleased to hear this.
And if I happen to make some friends along the way?
Let's take this from the top, Shark.
But they have like voice recordings of like interviews that you unlock throughout while playing through the game. I think if you play as one character more than the others, you unlock more of their audio files or whatever. But yeah, that's really cool. I think you also get those from Riddler trophies and stuff. Anyways, more people that did a great job. Tara Strong was amazing as Harley Quinn, as always. Deborah Wilson was an amazing Amanda Waller. I hated her so much. And that's not a bad thing, because that's Amanda Waller's character. She's just a bitch in everything I've seen her in. To a point, I get it, because, you know, the Suicide Squad, they're criminals, right? They're bad guys. The whole premise is that they're the bad guys that get a bomb planted in their head so that they're forced to become a team and take down, like, another bad guy, a bigger evil, you know? That's like that's their shtick. So, of course, Amanda Waller is going to be a bitch to them because they kind of deserve it because they're bad guys. It's like the thing with Amanda Waller in this game is like, and it's without the movies too, it's like you have the evil entity, which in this case is Brainiac. That's the obvious actual threat villain. Then you have Amanda Waller, and they're both kind of villains in their own way. Like, as the Suicide Squad, especially when they want to do something good for once, that Amanda Waller is like, nah, forget it. Like, when Wonder Woman is losing to Superman, they want to intervene, and Amanda Waller's like yelling at them to not do that and stuff. It's like, bitch, come on. And then lastly, of course, we can't forget about the legendary Kevin Conroy voicing Batman. He stole the show, as always. His voice, by the way, ever since I started getting into like more into DC, like within the last couple months, leading up to the launch of this, I've played the Arkham games, I played Injustice 2, started watching some like DC animated movies. Like I watched the Flashpoint phenomenon. I knew about the story Flashpoint, but I didn't know they made an animated movie about it, so I was like, I'm in. And then I watched Under the Red Hood, which now, can we please add Red Hood to the game? Jason's kind of cooler than I thought he would be in Arkham Knight. I did end up playing his DLC in the Arkham Knight game, so I like him. I think he's cool. I think he should be in the squad. I think it'd be cool. And then I watched Man of Steel, because I didn't watch it when it came out. And I was actually surprised. I liked it. I actually liked Man of Steel, and people trashed on it when it came out. Person that always stood out in any of the animated stuff was definitely Kevin Conroy's voice. I could tell why people loved him so much. He was an amazing voice actor, and you could really tell he did care about Batman and what the best interest for the character was, which brings me into when we get to the story stuff. So, alright, so now we're going to talk about the story, and this is the controversial part of the video. And this is also where, if you want to stay spoiler-free, click off the video now, because we're going to go into spoilers. But one thing before that, I want to stress something, because we just talked about Kevin Conroy. And this is kind of a side tangent, but also it's something I want to get straight with you guys. I think using Kevin Conroy as an excuse to attack this game is disgusting. You should feel ashamed and disgusted with yourself if you tried using him as an excuse. He chose this job. He was not forced to play evil Batman. He chose to play an evil Batman. He could have denied this role, but he thought it was a good role for Batman, so he chose it. So, don't go after the game because it disgraced Kevin Conroy and it ruined his legacy. Shut the f*** up. Like, honestly. If you're going to use someone's death as an excuse to attack anything, go f*** yourself. And I mean that. Like, I wholeheartedly mean that. Whenever someone exploits a celebrity's death, it just disgusts me. So, it's just a shitty thing to do, because his performance in this game is just top-notch. So, let's just get that straight right off the bat. If you use his death as an excuse, I have zero respect for you. Hell, I even heard from people online that he liked it. He actually liked doing an evil Batman for once. He liked doing an evil character. Because he's always playing, you know, the good guy. So, maybe it was fun to switch it up and play the bad guy for once. I could see that being a total thing. Like, imagine voicing an evil Batman. That's it, kind of. I think overall, as the story progresses throughout the seasons, I think the story's going to get better. But I would say probably up till you actually start killing the Justice League, the story is pretty solid and pretty good. Then it kind of falls apart once the Justice League stuff starts. And we'll get into like each one individually. But yeah, overall, I think the story's decent. So, yeah, it's not the best story in the world so far. But they have hinted at a couple things that might turn the tables on that. Before we get more into the story, I have to give you some background. Even though I gave you some earlier. I can see now, though, why DC fans are sick of evil Justice League or evil Superman, you know, because it has been used a lot lately. From what I've been seeing is that they've been turning the heroes evil kind of a lot, and it's kind of, I can see it being annoying if you're a fan of that specific hero too, especially like Superman fans are pissed at evil Superman. And God, I gotta say, in Injustice 2, I hated Superman. He was such a dick. I personally like him better as a villain because, you know, it's just more fascinating in my opinion. But I do get where people are coming from who've grown up with DC and have grown up with Superman, why that would be annoying and how it could be annoying to keep seeing your heroes become villains. But I get the general frustration, okay? I can't fully relate, but I get the frustration. Batman fans, I more relate to because I grew up with Batman. I didn't watch like all the Batman animated stuff, but I watched like the live action movies from like the 90s and the 80s. I watched the Dark Knight trilogy, and I recently just watched the Batman, but I meant to see it in theaters when it came out. I just never got around to seeing it in theaters for some reason. I think my head was so up the MCU's ass that I just skipped over it or something. Anyways, I get why people who grew up with Batman Arkham Batman are like rightfully pissed at what's going on with the game. Rightfully so, I get it, okay? But I don't think it's all doom and gloom. And we'll talk about that in a future video, and yeah. But I also think that Batman's death was not as disrespectful to the character than people might think, or that people are saying. Okay, so I want to start with something that pissed me off. It was one of the audio recordings we get, because as you go through the game too, you get audio recordings of conversations through the Justice League. It's kind of how you get to know how it was formed up till, right before the events of the game. So, it turns out, when Brainiac came to invade, the Justice League, or Superman, was informed that Brainiac wanted them to go on their ship and talk things out. And I guess Superman, his real weakness is being too nice and too understanding. And was like, what if I showed up in a giant skull ship? And Batman's obviously saying, like, dude, this is a trap. This is a bad idea. In fact, all of them are saying, besides Superman's like, we should not try to talk to this alien that came in a skull ship. But Superman's like, no. We could try to avoid fighting and we can be peaceful and everything can go so well.
This Brainiac wants to open negotiations aboard his ship. It's a trap.
Agreed. That much is apparent.
I hear you both, but we have to go in good faith. What if I had come to Earth and...
Hell, buddy. I mean, let's be real. You didn't show up in a giant skull.
They know the strength of the League. Everyone does. Now let's show them our heart, our compassion.
Our recklessness. We can't just leave Metropolis undefended.
We'll be in the thick of it, Bruce. Talks get nasty, we toss that thing right back into space.
We're in this together, gang. The 5 of us united, there's nothing we can't do. Let's show them our intentions.
You know what they say about good intentions, Clark.
So, for some reason, they decide to go on the Skull ship and do Superman's plan, even though everyone else, including Bruce Wayne, who's one of the smartest guys alive, he's the world's greatest detective, decides, let's do it. Let's go on that ship. That's when I was like, I hate you, Superman. It doesn't help that Superman gets, like, no time, by the way. He gets, like, he's never on the comms. We only see him, like, after we kill Green Lantern. That's when we start seeing him. And he's never on the comms. It's like, oh my gosh, it makes me so angry just thinking about it. Because the thing is, this is annoying to me because I want to like Superman so bad. I want to. But I just can't help but get angry with him. The only time I've liked him, that I've seen him in anything, was Man of Steel. But that was his movie. So, of course, he was very likable in Man of Steel. I thought he was a very fun, relatable character. But then, anything else I've seen him in, besides, I thought he was kind of funny in the Harley Quinn show. I made a TikTok showing off a scene that I thought was funny. But, besides that, I just don't like him. Someone help me like him. Someone tell me in the comments below. What should I watch to make me like Superman? Anyways, so the fact that he thought it was a we come in peace situation was stupid, and like, I could get if just Superman went up there and was like, oh, you guys won't come with, I'll just go alone then. Fine, okay. And then we'd have an evil Superman, and then it'd be like a Justice League game instead, and stuff like that. So, like I mentioned, the big problems start when we actually start killing the Justice League. Like, that's where the story starts taking a dip, because for the beginning, it's really cool because we're getting introduced to the world of Metropolis. You know, we see everything that's going down. We get a clash between Green Lantern and Flash. We have a whole Batman horror museum we go through, which is really cool. And we're introduced to, like, Wonder Woman, and, you know, we get to hack into the comms, and you hear Batman talking, like, a lot of the time, and apparently, I never caught it. I heard King Shark talk about it, though. And that's that Batman follows you. He'll, like, stalk you. Kind of like, I guess, I heard, I didn't notice this in Arkham City, but apparently Arkham City, Azrael does that to Batman, so interesting that they decided, let's have Batman stalk the player. Let's do that. So, yeah, I will say that Batman Museum thing was really cool, because it's like, for years, Arkham fans have been on the other side of that. We've been the ones that have been hunting, like, grunts and stuff. But this time around, you're the one being hunted. So, thought that was kind of cool. Anyways, my problem is not that we kill the Justice League. Like, I know that's the title of the game, and that's what we're gonna do. But, you know, it's the way they go out that pisses me off. Specifically, the Flash and Superman. So, the way that it goes is the fight starts up, and then we beat the fight, and then Flash just flops dead on the ground. He just drops dead. No final dialogue or anything. And then Captain Boomerang goes up and tries to piss on him, and Harley salutes his meat, but whatever. But yeah, he just drops dead. He just flops on the ground. And that's it. A Green Lantern, his was a little bit better. We shot him down. He kind of fell on the ground. He was still a little bit alive. And then Deadshot got to say a couple badass lines to him, and then he shoots him in the head. That's more how I expected everyone to be. I think the thing that made me so mad about the Flash one, going back to him really quick, is that he's saved our asses twice before he turned evil. So we got to know him a little bit. And he also told Diana, you know, the only way you can free us, no, you can save us is by killing us. You have to kill us. To save the world, they have to die. So we had some development from the Flash, and yet he just goes out and he just flops on the ground like a fish. It's like, so annoying, so stupid. Pissed me off. So that's really the death that really pissed me off. Like, the other ones were alright. Like, Green Lantern, like I said, his was sort of climactic at the end. Like, Deadshot gotta say his piece. By the way, I gotta say something about Green Lantern. I swear he thinks convict is a slur, because he threw that shit around like crazy. It was insane. It's hilarious how much he says convict and the way he says it. He's like, oh, how you going there, convict? It's like, it's so funny.
Look at me, convict!
The beef between him and Deadshot is actually hilarious in the game. So, by far, the saddest deaths are Wonder Woman's and Batman's, obviously. So, Wonder Woman's because the way she dies is really sad. She has the kryptonite shield, and she's fighting Superman's, trying to protect everyone, you know, and she knows she has to kill him. So, she stabs him with kryptonite, and that doesn't kill him, which is confusing to all parties, and we'll get back to that in a moment. But because of that, he laser eyes her to death, and he has to fly off to recover because it still hurt him. It's at the end of the day, it still hurt him. But she even says it was supposed to kill him while she's dying, and it's really sad because for some reason they made Harley Quinn kind of a stan of Wonder Woman. Like, one time they went and she was like telling them, "Don't embarrass me," and it was like, okay. But anyways, it was really sad seeing Harley's reaction, and I guess that's why they gave her the Wonder Woman outfit, now I think about it. But yeah, it's a sad scene to watch, so. And then she dies, and it's very sad. And then, of course, we've got Batman's death. Now, Batman's death this is where it gets really controversial. I liked it. I don't know why. I liked his death. And it's weird, because I did get attached to the character. I really did. But I'm not so... I do understand why Arkham fans are upset. Because, you know, it's Arkham Batman. And that's something I think that I didn't even mention yet. I probably should have. The biggest mistake for this game is having it take place in the Arkhamverse, because we had a white Deadshot already, so they had to make a whole subplot about there being a fake Deadshot. Which they did do, kind of, but I want it more explained. How there was a fake Deadshot out there. But yeah, they made like a whole subplot. It was really weird. And then also, you know, they're making us kill a character that we've been playing as for years. Or Arkham fans have been playing as for years. And I guess a lot of people are upset of how he dies. So basically what happens is we find his Batcave in Metropolis, because he has a Batcave everywhere. And we kill him there using Harley's fear toxin against Batman's, because Harley became a neuroscientist while in Arkham, got a degree in that or something, made her own, and Scarecrow helped her make her own fear toxin or something like that. That was kind of quickly explained. Plot armor. There we go. Hey, look, if Spider-Man can have it, if Batman can have it, the Suicide Squad can have plot armor too. Come on, let's be reasonable about that. But yeah, they intentionally do not kill him because Lex Luthor from Earth 2 needs some DNA sample to go up against Superman because, like I mentioned, the kryptonite that Diana used did not work. So he wants to make a special kind, but he needs DNA from Batman. So Bruce is clinging on to life at this point, and they take him to Lex Luthor. And then after that, so you know what? This pissed me off. I'll say this because people pointed this out. Why didn't Lex Luthor, instead of trying to find a way to kill Superman, why didn't he just try to unbrainwash Batman? Because apart from Bruce, like, Lex Luthor is one of the smartest people on the planet, right? So obviously he can look into curing Batman, because Batman had contingency plans for every member of the Justice League. They talk about this. It's like, why didn't you just unbrainwash him? But instead, he finds the way to make something called gold kryptonite, and they use that against Superman. So, but they need to bring Superman out, because, like I mentioned, he hasn't been anywhere in the game besides when he went to kill Diana, essentially. So, basically, they transport Batman's body to where they want to show down with Flash. They put him on a bench, and Harley and Bruce have a back and forth, and then Harley even brings up the Joker, which I thought that was kind of cold. I was like, oh, this is getting kind of personal now, kind of deep and stuff. And then I still remember the last line that Kevin Conroy said was, "Are we done with your little stand-up routine?" And then Harley's like, "Almost, but you gotta end on your best joke." And then shoots him in the head. And, like, she even acknowledges after doing it that, you know, Batman would have wanted it because, you know, he has that strict no-kill rule. And he would want to die after finding out what he had done. Like, he wasn't in his right headspace. But still, like, that was my point with my one video, which was called Why We Should Kill the Justice League, you know? If you go watch that one, yeah. And they even, like, say, you know, he was quite the warrior and stuff like that. And then the Superman fights happen, and then Superman just drops dead. Kind of like the Flash. Which I can see Superman fans being pissed about, too. So yeah, ultimately, Batman's death, I liked the build-up. I liked that they gave him a lot of time on screen. His fight could have been harder. I think it would have been cool if his fight was like the Scarecrow Arkham Asylum mission, and it was like a throwback to that. I think that would have been cool. But still, I think that his death was fine. I was fine with it. I thought I got kind of emotional during it because, you know, it's Arkham Batman. But yeah, I feel like if it wasn't Arkham Batman, the game would have a lot less crap on it. But, you know, to market the game, they probably decided, let's have it take place in the Arkhamverse. That'll get people to buy the game. But honestly, I think that probably turned some people off. So maybe Rocksteady should have rethought that. Now, after we've killed the Justice League, we find out, we get the first glimpse of Brainiac. He pretty much tells us that, yo, you're not done yet. You still have to fight me. I'm your threat here. And then it's revealed by Lex Luthor and Amanda Waller that their true target is the Organization 13 of Brainiacs. We had to defeat 13 Xehanorts in Kingdom Hearts 3, and now we had to fight 13 Brainiacs. Great. So I guess every episode in each season is going to have a new Brainiac to fight. In this one, in Season 0, the Brainiac fight is a reskin of the Flash fight. It's just a harder version of the Flash fight, and it seems like that's what it's gonna be for, like, the future Brainiacs. It's gonna be another reskin of a Justice League member fight. What I really hope to see for the final Brainiac fight, whenever the last episode comes out, I hope that it's either a totally original new fight, or it's some sort of thing where he changes, but each phase he changes to a different, like, member of the Justice League. I think that would be really cool too. That'd be a cool final boss too. But a reskin of the first battle? Really? Really? Man. I mean, it looked like when they started, he was like, he said his real name, and he said, and I'm the fastest man alive. I thought it was gonna, like, transition after, like, phase 1 to, you know, like I said, switch to be a different member of the Justice League. Like, he turns into, like, the Green Lantern and stuff. But, yeah. That being said, I have faith that Rocksteady can make the story better. Because, here's the thing. Going into talking about this game back in November, I really had high hopes it'd be a good game. And I still think it's a good game, and I think it's going to be a better game as more of the story comes out. But as it is right now, the story is mediocre at best. I'll admit that. I think it could have done, like, there's some other things that are just kind of like, why would you do this when you could do this? And, like, they could have done this, but they did this? It's, like, very messy right now. And what I think they need to do is really listen to what the people are saying and kind of go in that direction. However, I feel like all the voice lines were probably already recorded, so story-wise at least, I think it's going to go in the direction that it's always been going to go. It was always going to go. I don't know what that mix of words were. Hopefully, the story's better, because I know Rocksteady are better. I understand there's, like, a new team. Well, like, not a new team, but, like, new people there. And, like, a lot of the old people are no longer there that worked on the other Arkham games. I know these guys can tell a good story, and I feel like it's getting there, but it's at a rocky start. I don't think it's an awful game. I do recommend it, but I think... See, it's hard, because I recommend it, and I want it to do well, but really, if I were to truly recommend it, I would either wait till it's on sale, or wait until more updates have come out to play the game. Because really, there's not much to do right now. There's the Finite Crisis episode, and that's kind of it. I do think it's a good game. It's fun to play. That's like the main important part of a live service game, is that it has to be fun to play. That's like the big thing. And it is fun. I can wholeheartedly say that, 100%. It's a fun time. I just wish the story was a little bit better. But that being said, I don't think the Justice League are dead. I think, well, besides Wonder Woman, she's obviously dead. But the ones that were brainwashed, I don't think are dead. And there's a lot we can talk about when it comes to that, but this video is long enough. And I want to make a whole separate video on that. So, yeah. Those are my thoughts on Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League. I think I might take a tiny bit of a break from talking about this game because, you know, Persona 3 Reload's out, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth's coming out, and there's just other stuff I want to talk about. I want to talk about the Steam Deck because I just got my first one. It's the OLED too, so. But, yeah, I thought the game is good. It can't, and I feel like it will get better. So I want to know in the comments down below, what did you guys think of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? Are you interested in playing it? Are you going to get it one day? Do you hate the game? Do you disagree with everything I've said in this video? Because if you did, that's totally fine. That's your opinion. Let me know in the comments down below. I want to hear from you. And yeah, if you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell when you do. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/BrandonCanWin. I'll be streaming Suicide Squad every now and then when Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth comes out, I'll be streaming that. And yeah, so long and good night.